Hola a todos, mi nombre es Juani. How to speak Spanish easier with these 4 important words for beginners. Now these words allow us to connect our sentences and phrases together, allowing our conversations to flow a lot smoother. Now let's get straight into it. Let's start off with the first example here. To start with, let's take a look at these 2 separate phrases or sentences. The first one we've got is Mañana tengo el día libre. Mañana tengo el día libre. Tomorrow I have the day free, or tomorrow I have the day off. And then the second one we've got is simple. Quiero ir a la playa. Quiero ir a la playa. I want to go to the beach. So what, off the top of your head, what's a connector word we can use here to connect these 2 phrases together? Cool, so there's a few different ones you can use, but the most basic one, of course, is simply saying and, or y in Spanish. So we'd change it to Mañana tengo el día libre y quiero ir a la playa. Tomorrow I have the day off and I want to go to the beach. Great, so you can see in that example using y, or simply the letter Y in Spanish, which means and in this context, is very simple. I won't bother spending too much time on that one. You already know how useful and is in English, and it's no different in Spanish. Let's move on to the second example. So let's take a look at these 2 phrases again. The first phrase is Quiero aprender español. Quiero aprender español. I want to learn Spanish. And the second one is Mi madre es de España. Mi madre es de España. So off the top of your head, can you think of one word, one connector word to go in between these 2 phrases to help connect them together? Cool, so again, there's a few different ones you can use. The most basic one, or most common one, of course, being porque. Porque, which in this context means because. So again, if we repeat that phrase, quiero aprender español porque mi madre es de España. So I want to learn Spanish because my mum is from Spain. So again, just like it is in English, the word because, again, is a very effective word. In this simple context here, we're explaining the reason why we actually want to learn Spanish, because my mum is from Spain. A really useful one. Let's go for another example. Voy a visitar a mis padres porque es el cumpleaños de mi padre. Voy a visitar a mis padres porque es el cumpleaños de mi padre. So I'm going to visit my parents because it's my dad's birthday. You can see by these 2 examples the word porque, because in Spanish, okay, a very effective word, very common. So if you haven't added that to your vocabulary, I would recommend doing that right away. Great, now let's move on to the next one. Again, here's 2 phrases, and I want you to think of a word to connect these 2 phrases together. We're going to go through the first one again. Quiero aprender español. Quiero aprender español. I want to learn Spanish, but this time the second sentence is going to be No tengo mucho tiempo libre. No tengo mucho tiempo libre. I don't have a lot of free time. So again, can you think of a word to connect these together? Cool, so one of the most basic words in Spanish that you probably would have heard before, pero. Pero. But. So if we connect it together, quiero aprender español, pero no tengo mucho tiempo libre. So I want to learn Spanish, but I don't have a lot of free time. So again, pero, but, just like it is in English, okay, a very effective word to connect things together. In this context, though, you can see we're giving the reason why it's going to be difficult for us to do what we want to do in this particular context. Let's go for another example with the word pero. Mis amigos quieren ir a la fiesta, pero tienen que trabajar. Mis amigos quieren ir a la fiesta, pero tienen que trabajar. So my friends want to go to the party, but they have to work. Cool, I think you've got the hang of that one. Let's move on to the next one. To start with, the next one we've got is hablo un poco de español. Hablo un poco de español. Then the second one we've got is italiano y japonés. So, italiano y japonés. So can you think of a word off the top of your head to help connect things together again? Cool, so there's a few different ones you can use, but the most common one in this particular context would be también. So también, which a lot of you will know means also in English. So también is a great one if you want to add something on to something that you've already said. For example, if we use one of the previous examples we used before, quiero aprender español porque mi madre es de España. So I want to learn Spanish because my mum is from Spain. Now, if I want to add on to that, I can also say, también la lengua es muy útil. También la lengua es muy útil. So if we repeat it again, quiero aprender español porque mi madre es de España. También la lengua es muy útil. So you can see in this example how porque and también just allows the whole sentence and construction to just flow together smoothly. Nice work, everyone. So I will leave these words in the description box for you below if you want to practice writing out a few examples yourself. Don't forget, if you are getting any value from these videos, I'd really appreciate it if you hit that like button and consider subscribing, of course, if you haven't already. And apart from that one, I will see you in the next one. Hasta pronto.